Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this morning I needed a little help with my wife's Christmas present. I've got her the core stuff. The quality of presents is good, but I just need to work on the volume a little bit. Need something maybe in the $50 to $100 range that would be an extra thing she could either open or have as a gift. I've gotten some great ideas here. This is perfume, comfy PJs and slippers. Let's see. I got this one a lot. I'm thinking on this one right here. Spa day gift and certificate. And by the way, I can talk about this because my wife does not listen to my show. The reason she does not listen to my show is because it makes her nervous. The whole thing makes her nervous, which is why I'm trying to get her to go to XRP Las Vegas this year. XRP Las Vegas. If you go to XRPLasVegas.com, I'm going to be there. My wife's probably going to be there. I think I'm going to make her go this year. She's never seen that. I talked to Brad Combs yesterday. XRPLasVegas.com, XRP Las Vegas ticket sales are literally now within maybe less than double digits, almost less than double digits away from last year's record. And we've only been talking about it for 3 weeks. And we're not even into 2025 yet. The thing's in May. And by the way, Bitcoin Las Vegas is going to be there in the 2 or 3 days before XRP Las Vegas, and then it rolls right into XRP Las Vegas. So go to XRPLasVegas.com. Check that out. There's also discounted MGM Grand hotel rooms there. There's a link for that on the site. I also have a link to it in the top of the description. Listen to this. Yesterday, Fed Chair Powell.
Assets that have been buoyant. Do you see any value or benefit in the U.S. government building a reserve of Bitcoin?
We're not allowed to own Bitcoin. The Federal Reserve Act says what we can own, and we're not looking for a law change. That's the kind of thing for Congress to consider, but we are not looking for a law change at the Fed.
Okay, and as everybody knows by now, yesterday this happened.
So you are seeing really some broad-based selling as we speak.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that the appetite for risk is not there today. You look at the IMAP and red all around, including when you break down the sectors into 24 industry groups as well. Still, it's notable that your outperformers and that they didn't fall as much as the overall S&P 500 are healthcare, consumer staples, and utilities, classic defensive sectors. Worst performers, consumer discretionary, real estate investment trusts, each down by 4%, and communication services losing 3.1%.
And your superlative on the day, the S&P falling its biggest post-Fed drop since March of 2020.
Okay, so the Fed came out yesterday and they announced a 0.25% rate cut, and the market did not like it. The stock market took a dive. Then later on, crypto took a dive. XRP went as low as like $2.17. I had my hand on the trigger. I was literally about to make a purchase. But the only reason I didn't is because it's that season where I'm paying Christmas credit cards off and stuff. So it just wasn't the right time for me to do it. But like I've told you 1,000 times, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just going to tell you how I think on XRP. I've owned it since 2013. I've ridden all the ups and downs. And when these markets occur, the way I do one or two things. I either, on these dips like this, I either buy XRP or I just walk away. If the reason for the downturn, which since 2013, none of the reasons for XRP going down have ever been some monumental end of XRP type thing. All the fundamentals have remained for all these years. And so I've never lost faith. I've never lost faith in the fact that Ripple's no ordinary company and XRP is no ordinary digital asset. I have actually had #0 doubt. I still have #0 doubt, but I have a lot more of the #0 doubt now than I've ever had. I will be here. Look, folks, I'll own the XRP when many of you aren't even around anymore. My family will own XRP when I'm not around anymore. That's how much I believe in what's going on here. Okay, now, so that's what went down. Now, the eToro released their interview with Brad Garlinghouse, and the first thing I wanted to show you was this. Listen to what he says.
If you compare the cycle of the adoption of the internet, some people say, oh, the internet kind of was born in the late 90s. It's like, well, actually, the internet was born in the early 70s in kind of a U.S. Department of Defense, ARPANET, and then it evolved in the 90s because it became a whole lot easier to use. You went from really defense and military to they added universities. Then along comes HTML and HTTP, and all of a sudden, and really SMTP, and all of a sudden it was now usable. And then you went through 20 or 30 years of growth that we're seeing and experiencing today in the internet as we know it. I think we're still in the 70s and 80s of blockchain and crypto. It's still, we all have this.
Now, you need to understand what that means. If we're in the 70s and 80s, that means that it didn't really take off .com until the 90s. Like in terms of tons of money coming in. More on that later. But the point is, that's how early we are. I mean, that is crazy.
It's still kind of hard to use often. Look, we've all probably, many of us have sent crypto to somebody else, and you send a small transaction to make sure it goes through, and you're like, okay, did you get that? And then there's a whole bunch of things that I think will get easier. And by, I don't want to say hiding the back end, it's just, if we want mass adoption, we need to make it easier in across the board, and that's when the utility and just the opportunity keeps growing. And I think we still underestimate how big this could be in the next decade or so.
Now, let this sink in. I talked about this some in my group yesterday. According to Grok AI, the .com market capitalization peak of approximately $6.6 trillion for the NASDAQ Composite Index was achieved in March 2000. $6.6 trillion in the year 2000 would be worth approximately $11.52 trillion in today's dollars. Crypto today has a total market cap of $3.55 trillion, and we haven't even had a crypto IPO boom yet. Let that sink in and lock the F in is what I say, folks. That right there, what I just read to you, is all you should need to know. The key in crypto is being in my opinion, is being invested in digital assets that are going to have real utility, because those are the ones that are going to stand the test of time. And XRP stands at the top of that list. I wanted to make another point. Before the SEC was corrupted, it used to focus on suing companies that had potentially or actually done wrongdoing instead of trying to pick winners and losers for their revolving door friends, Bill Hinman. We need to get back to this in this country. And I did a question for Grok on which .com companies did the SEC sue during the .com boom and bust cycle. Just about every one of them, it had to do with like questionable accounting practices or potential of fraud. There's WorldCom. WorldCom was one of the most infamous cases of accounting fraud during the time directly. And even FTX, folks, Gary Gensler did not go after FTX until the fraud was exposed because of what CZ Binance did. A Chinese crypto guy. Let that sink in. Did they go after Tether? Tether had all kinds of nefarious things in the early stages, but they let it go. They've let it go all along. Ethereum disguised whales. They were encouraging large whales to disguise their purchases, which is, if anything, is potential money laundering. That is, they left them alone too. And then we've got this. This was from Eleanor Terrett yesterday. New at a meeting with the staffers, SEC commissioners Hester Pearson and Mark Uyeda this week. Digital Chambers Token Alliance included denouncing the 2018 Hinman speech as a day one priority for the corporation finance division, citing its lack of relevance to the Howey test and creating market confusion, improperly creating a winner-loser dynamic. Folks, how much money has gone into Bitcoin and Ethereum, that if there was a level playing field, it wouldn't have ever happened. The SEC with Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton intentionally created a distorted market for all of this time. I mean, these people need to be put on trial. And then Cowboy Crypto was pointing all this out as well. Here's a few more clips from Brad Garlinghouse.
Measure of that is how much liquidity is there, because the more liquidity there is on more exchanges, the more useful the overall XRP ecosystem is for every individual participant. So certainly eToro, and again, I've known Yoni for a bunch of years, and their support of and advocacy around XRP has been important for sure. We're fortunate. I think XRP is listed around 600 or 700 exchanges around the world now. And, we work within our products, as your kind of questions about, we work with some exchanges around the world to actually enable the enterprise onboarding, offboarding, and kind of what some people call the last mile, the ability to intersect with that traditional financial infrastructure remains important. And certainly the eToros of the world and driving liquidity and frankly, just helping educate, like events like this, helping educate people who are interested in the ecosystem about what's going on, I think is very valuable. We need more kind of top tier exchanges like eToro out there.
All right, he's an eToro fan. Here's another one right here.
That, are you going to be using that in your own products? How will it compare with XRP?
We absolutely will be using our own products. A little bit of history on this. Ripple has for years used stablecoins, U.S. dollar stablecoins, in certain corridors, depending upon which currency pairs we're dealing with, customer we're enabling, and frankly, sometimes it has been more efficient. And so we've used Tether in certain circumstances. We've used USDC. In fact, at one point, we were responsible for minting 20% of all USDC. And we kind of realized that there's an opportunity in the market as it continues to grow to, particularly for our customer set around, institutions. We felt like it was an opportunity for us to jump in. Look, I think as you look at the road ahead around stablecoins, I think the market's going to continue to grow a lot. I think when we decided to launch a stablecoin, it was probably about $120 billion market. Today, I think it's just shy of $200 billion. Some smart analysts forecast it's going to be a couple trillion in 5 more years. So I think the market's going to continue to grow for sure. Right now, the U.S. dollar is by far the most important stable coin, but I think you will see some activity in euro, maybe in yen.
Oh, you will?
We shall see how far down that goes. But look, our goal is to make sure that the XRP ledger is the most efficient, the most trusted, the most utility, and having a stablecoin on the XRPL that is robust, efficient, reputable. Ripple has worked with institutions for years now, and I think we have a very trusted brand. And look, we also have a very large balance sheet that we think, if needed, could be helpful in making the RLUSD or Ripple USD successful.
Just on the...
Okay, it dawned on me, I forgot to bring something up from right here. One of the, I think it's, let's see. Seems like this Eleanor Tarrant thing, I want to say that it had said something about, or maybe it was Cowboy. I want to say that it had said something about dismissing cases. Enforcement review all existing, initiate an immediate review of all existing digital asset related investigations, well as notice of in-process litigation. Issue a clear statement outlining the Commission's provisional enforcement approach. Seek stays for ongoing litigation for cases that do not involve actual fraud, investor loss, or risk of imminent harm, allowing time to finalize the Commission's approach. Important, consider whether new cases and investigations should only be brought in cases of real fraud or imminent loss, no more theory cases. That would involve dismissing the Ripple case right there too. Okay, let me see. I'll do at least one. Let me see. Brad got ETFs, the transition from speculative trading. Listen to this.
There's been an influx of XRP ETF filings, both in and out of the US. How do you view all of this? How do you view these filings?
Well, I think part of the transition from maybe more speculative retail into more institutional adoption and participation is the ETF step. Certainly, the Bitcoin ETF getting approved, the SEC was dragged kicking and screaming a little bit towards that outcome. But getting the Bitcoin ETF, I think, was a monumental event in terms of expanding the ability for others to participate, particularly institutional investors. So to me, I think I said then publicly that people would ask me, is there going to be an XRP ETF? And I just look, it's inevitable that there will be an XRP ETF. And now I think I actually don't even know. I think there's 4 or 5 different filings here in the U.S. I know of at least one in Europe. And I think it's great. I think it's, again, not surprising. I certainly hope that we'll see some of those approved soon, and we'll see them trading so others can participate in the ecosystem that otherwise might not be able to because they don't want to custody crypto themselves or other reasons that may exist. But I'm excited for sure, and I think it's a great sign not just for XRP, but I think it's a great sign for crypto broadly. I will say, and I think many people.
Okay, and then this is that's a repeat. Let me get rid of that. This one right here, he doubles down on a dent in the universe.
Many people want to put their dent in the universe, and I think I feel that way, and I think many of Ripple's employees feel that way. They want to put their dent in the universe, and I think if we continue to evangelize and successfully deploy Ripple's technologies, we're putting that dent in the universe. And I many people want to.
Words mean things, and he knows what he's saying there. Okay, in DAIXRP.com, what is going to happen with XRP price after that massive pullback from the Fed? We're going to talk about what some of the chart people are talking about that, and a Stuart Alderati tweet. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.